I'm so nervous. Hi, my name is Zoe. I'm 26 years old and I'm having a hysterectomy. I have no idea how people film like this. I just filmed for like 15 minutes and hated the camera angle, but I'm not gonna go back to fix it. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So 2 days from now, right? Yeah, today's Saturday, and on Monday, I will be having the surgery. And the main research that I have done for this surgery has been through YouTube. I've watched quite a few videos on, different women's experience of having the surgery and the recovery process, and it's been very informative and helpful. But a lot of the women that I'm seeing, they're a little bit older than me. They're normally like in their late 30s, early to late 40s. And since I'm so young, I thought it might help someone out if I were to like record and post my experience about this surgery. Why am I getting a hysterectomy? So basically it's because of two reasons. Though the main thing is that I have an illness called endometriosis. And the other reason is because I also have a pretty severe phobia of pregnancy. I would probably have to do 2 separate videos just covering my endo story and also tocophobia, because this video itself is probably going to be too long to really go into detail about that. But yeah. By the way, the surgery that I'm having is a total laparoscopic hysterectomy. So basically there's like a little robot thing that's going to remove my cervix, my uterus, and my fallopian tubes. Not my ovaries, but everything else is going to be gone. So I've always had issues concerning my reproductive system. I started my period at around the age of 10, and I've always had really bad period symptoms. They were always very, very heavy, and I always felt awful during my period. And as I've aged, the symptoms have gotten a lot worse, to the point that it affects my day-to-day life. I can't tell you how much work that I've missed, and I'm constantly fatigued all the time. It wasn't until probably about 3 years ago that I was actually diagnosed with endometriosis. I had a laparoscopic surgery that was meant to be explorative. For one, I had abnormal cells growing around my cervix, so they were worried about it being precancer, but that ended up being okay. And while they were doing the surgery, that's whenever they found the bad endo tissue. Before the endometriosis diagnosis, I knew that, I kind of knew something was wrong, but around 17 years old, that's whenever I started experimenting with different forms of birth control to try and see if it could ease my symptoms, and nothing's really worked. A lot of times the birth control would make my symptoms worse, and also the birth control would also exasperate like a lot of mental health symptoms that I have. And yeah, it's been really awful. This hysterectomy is basically like a last resort to try and ease my symptoms. Along with the endo, I also have tocophobia. I've been to counseling and stuff, but I've never like sat down and been like, this is a thing that's happening to me. I'm terrified of getting pregnant. So like I don't have an actual diagnosis of tocophobia, but like I have tocophobia. I remember being like 8 years old and my mom trying to explain to me like what tampons were and what they were used for. And I went into like a full blown panic attack, like hyperventilating on the couch kind of panic attack. I just thought like the idea that my body is capable of doing that just scares the living shit out of me, honestly. For example, right now I take hormonal birth control. I always use condoms with my partner. My partner also pulls out. I have endo, so it's like the likelihood of getting pregnant is a little low. and I still have crippling anxiety every time I have sex. And it's to the point that it does affect my relationships. My current partner, he's like the first actual like true relationship that I've been in, because I was so scared of being romantically involved with, with like a male person, because I didn't want to have sex and get pregnant. Also, the whole sex thing has been an issue too, because one of the main endo symptoms that I have is that sex is pretty painful. Penetrative sex, anyway. And I thought that after my first laparoscopic surgery, my symptoms would ease, but it only lasted maybe about 6 months, and then a lot of the symptoms came back. And like I said, as I age, these symptoms get worse. And it's to the point where my day-to-day life is compromised. Like, I feel like I don't have like a quality of life. It's the endometriosis has moved past my menstrual cycle. I'm constantly having pain all around my pelvic area and lower back. And most women, they'll have, it's like 1 week more or less out of the month they have a menstrual cycle, but for me it's like maybe 1 week out of the month I'm not bleeding. I'm basically bleeding almost every day. So this hysterectomy surgery is basically a last resort to help ease my symptoms. About, I want to say like 5 or 6 months ago, I started seeing a new gynecologist because my insurance changed, and the doctor that I had been seeing for years was no longer covered, so I had to go see this new doctor. And I mentioned to her my interest in getting a hysterectomy, and she looked at my past medical records, and she agreed with me. She noticed that I've tried all these different types of birth control and I've had a surgery before, and so she was willing to do it for me. This was really great for me because I actually live in a pretty conservative state here in the US, and I always thought that there was no way that I'd be able to have this surgery because of my age. I remember being 18 years old and just like really, really wishing that there was some way that they could just take all of my reproductive system out. I wanted it gone so bad. But I figured that nobody would do it for me because, I'm a young lady and I need to get married and have a bunch of kids. And my pregnancy phobia, it affects a lot of things. It's kind of like the endometriosis. For example, my current partner, being intimate with him can be really difficult sometimes. Like I said at the beginning, the whole tocophobia thing, I would probably have to make an entirely separate video just about that, because this video would be way too long if I were to just sit here and explain it all. But yeah, it's like I can't be fully intimate with my partner because I'm just so scared of getting pregnant. And my current doctor, she talked to me about that as well. She wanted to like really, really confirm with me that I for sure do not want children. I have known ever since probably the age of 8 that I never want to conceive and carry a child. No, it's just not my life path to be a mother. And so after that, conversation with my doctor, she agreed to do the surgery on me. And so yeah, 2 days from now, I'm gonna have a hysterectomy. And I'm kind of excited because this is going to be, possibly a life-changing experience. I don't want to get emotional. I actually can't believe that I'm getting emotional, but it's because I've suffered so many years with it, and then now there's a chance that this will, ease my symptoms. the hysterectomy isn't going to cure the endometriosis, but I'm no longer going to have a period, so I think it's going to help a lot. And then also I can make love with my partner and not, care. I can just, enjoy his company and not be worried the entire time about making a baby. I know that probably sounds silly to a lot of people, but from my perspective, it's overwhelming. So yeah, I'm just, on a path to wellness, and I'm so excited to go on this journey, and I want to try and document my experience as much as possible so that other women who are going through this will have some sort of relief or hope, or if they're having surgery, they can go in and know what to sort of expect. Yeah, this video is probably all over the place. I have no idea how people film videos like these. I have written so many notes and scrapped them, and I have filmed so many clips, and I feel like this is all over the place. I'm gonna have to do a ton of editing. But anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching my video, and hopefully you check back in with me whenever I start posting more videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to film at the hospital yet because there is a pandemic going on. And yeah, that's also a shit show. Yeah, anyways, bye guys.